Hi everyone! Today we're diving into a really frustrating Archlinux problem. Your Arch system won't boot, you see cryptic messages like job control turned off, and the worst part is, you can't even get to a TTY. It feels like your system is completely locked up. This can be super stressful, but don't worry, we can definitely fix this together. This error usually points to issues with your initramfs, which is the initial RAM disk that helps your kernel boot. It might be corrupted, missing, or perhaps a recent kernel update went wrong. It could also be a missing driver needed to access your root file system. The key is to get into a rescue environment. First things first, you need a live Archlinux USB, or any Linux live USB that you can boot from. This will be your lifeline. Boot your computer from this live USB. Once you're in the live environment, open up a terminal. This is where all the magic will happen. Next, we need to identify your Archlinux partitions. Type lsblk into the terminal. Look for your main root partition, often something like /dev/sdax or /dev/nme0n1px. Note down its name. If you have a separate boot partition or an EFI system partition, identify those as well. Now, we need to mount your broken Archlinux installation. Create a mount point, sudo mkdir/mnt. Then, mount your root partition to it. Sudo mount /dev/sdax/mnt. Remember to replace sdax with your actual root partition. If you have a separate boot partition, mount that too. Sudo mount /dev/sday/mnt/boot. Replace sday. For EFI systems, mount your EFI partition. Sudo mount /dev/sdaz/mnt/boot/fe. Replace sdaz. Make sure all necessary partitions are mounted correctly. The next crucial step is to chroot into your system. This command, sudo archchroot/mnt, will essentially make your live environment behave as if you've booted into your actual Archlinux installation. You'll be operating directly within your broken system's environment. This is powerful. Once you're in the chroot environment, the first thing we'll try is regenerating the initramfs images. This often solves the job control turned off error. Type mkinitcpio and press enter. This command will rebuild all initramfs images for all installed kernels on your system. It can take a few minutes, so be patient. Watch for any error messages during this process. If it completes successfully, this is a very good sign. After regenerating initramfs, it's also a good idea to update your grub configuration, especially if a kernel or grub update might have been involved. Run grub-config/boot/grub/grub.cfg. This command will scan for your kernels and rebuild your grub boot menu. This ensures your bootloader knows about the newly generated initramfs images. If you suspect file system corruption, you might want to exit the chroot first by typing exit, then unmount your partitions using sudo amount r/mnt and finally run sudo fsck/dev/sdax on your root partition, replace sdax. Be careful with fsck, it can make changes. Only run it on unmounted partitions. If all else fails, you might consider reinstalling your kernel within the chroot environment using pacman-s Linux and then regenerating initramfs again. Once you've completed these steps, type exit to leave the chroot environment. Then, unmount all the partitions you mounted earlier. Sudo amount r/mnt. Finally, reboot your system by typing sudo reboot. Remember to remove your live USB drive when prompted or before the system tries to boot again. Hopefully, your Archlinux system will now boot up without any issues, and you'll be back in business. Thank you so much for watching this guide on fixing a non-booting Archlinux system. This problem can be quite challenging, but with these steps, you should be able to resolve it. If this video helped you get your Arch system back online, please give it a thumbs up to let us know. And if you want more Linux tips, troubleshooting guides, and helpful tutorials, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll see you in the next video.